Hello and welcome to R&R Cinetalks. I am Clint and Robison, and I will be your guide through this journey of everything independent film related. Sit back and listen to me as I interview various people involved in the film industry, do some movie reviews, and have some great generalized discussions. Thank you and enjoy. Guys, thank you for joining me today on the first interview back from the brief hiatus on R&R Cinetalks. Today we have this special opportunity to be talking with my friend Casper Alexander. How are you doing today, Casper?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. So let's just jump into it because you're kind of an all-around entertainer. I see you doing poetry, you do music, you do film. Like, it seems like no matter what it is when it comes to the entertainment industry, you're trying to be all up in it, and I enjoy that, man.
Yeah. I kind of, I don't know. I started with music and everything kind of just branched off. So,
Yeah, I get you. I started with writing poetry, and here I am in the movie industry. I also write lyrics as well, doing podcasting. So it's pretty awesome to meet somebody like myself, just doing that shotgun form of entertainment. Whatever comes off
yeah,
the dome, you're doing it. I enjoy that a lot.
100%.
So what made you decide to go from your music into film? What made you decide to bridge that divide?
I guess, honestly, music is what made me bridge the divide because I wanted to get my music into film.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, what's the process? I didn't really understand like the idea of pitching my music to people quite yet, to the music supervisors and things like that.
Right.
So I was like, well, I could just try to get in film. I could try to do some acting, and then maybe that'll build some relationships with the directors, the producers, etc. And then I actually really enjoyed acting, so I was like, well, this is a move. I like this a lot.
Right, and
So
you kind of went the backdoor route, like making the connections and all that stuff, because, like you said, you could always just pitch it to the audio person or the composition worker and all that stuff, but it's cool that you ended up enjoying the acting part. Like, I'm getting into acting myself too now, and it's actually kind of fun. Like, you're just getting to play pretend, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. It's one of those things I kind of looked at as what's meant will be. So
Yeah.
usually I could have just took it. I could have looked into that process of just being like contacting music supervisors, but maybe it was just more meant for me to get into acting. So I take it as that, and it's a blessing. So
Yeah, and plus it's another way to get your name out there. Like, now not only are you a musician, but you're also an actor, so that's just another way for people to discover you one way or another, you know what I mean? Which is
yeah, 100%.
which is pretty cool. I think I had somebody on here before talk about like being in one of your music videos and working with you on that, which was pretty interesting. Anna Ayler.
Yeah. She was on my Coast video. She was helped be an extra background actor for it, and it was a great time. I was really appreciative to everyone who came out.
Absolutely. So I take it you do like your own acting in your music videos and stuff now too, since you're also an actor. I mean, 9 times out of 10, most musicians do their own music videos, anyways. But that probably helps you out a lot, being an film actor and then being in your music videos. Probably give you some experience for your videos, like being on set and whatnot.
Yeah, I kind of like I say I've only been acting for like 2 years, but technically I've been in front of the camera for over 10. You know what I mean? Just because
Yeah.
like doing music videos and stuff, and the only thing that transitions differently is dialogue. You
Yeah.
know, it's the actions are the part that I'm used to, the facial expressions and stuff like that. So it's kind of
Yeah.
cool to think about it in that realm.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
It seems like at least you got used to being in front of camera and entertaining people and like having to memorize movements and facial expressions. Like, that probably gave you a pretty decent leg up and an opportunity to shine a little bit more because you're used to that. Like, being in front of camera is a little different than being in front of like just being normal, because you kind of have to move exaggeratedly. You have to like position yourself exaggeratedly just so that things can be picked up. Like, I don't know if you've
Mm-hmm.
seen this, but like I've seen behind the scenes footage of like Scream or action movies where the camera's in front of a person and they're running. They kind of have to do that like high leg jog just so it looks normal. Because
Yeah.
otherwise it looks like you're shuffling on camera, but with that high leg jog you get that knee movement and people can like recognize it as normal even though in real life it looks like completely ridiculous. Or like just that
Absolutely, yeah.
or just like that body positioning that seems like super uncomfortable and everything. And it's one of those things that amazes me that people like have this expectation of normal, but what's actually being done is like completely absurd and exaggerated.
Yeah, I always think about that with like CGI and
Mm-hmm.
well, like the Avengers. I was watching some behind the scenes stuff for the Avengers, and I was like, yeah, I think it was in War or in game, I mean, and I was like, wow, it's like it's a bunch of guys in green suits. It's not even there.
And like
So you have to really
dots and
create
everything.
this. So you have to really create this like idea without it actually being there. So it's kind of fun being an actor because you basically never grow up because you get to have a chance to play with your imagination.
Yeah, you get it's like being a kid again in the backyard, like chasing each other with sticks and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
almost like that again. You got all these guys. Like I've been on a set where like this guy comes up with like 50 or 60 of those fake blank firing guns, like prop guns, but they actually have
Hmm.
like the kickback and they fire blanks, and you just see all these guys running around acting like they're in Call of Duty with like blank guns. It's so hilarious. It's like seeing all these grown men turn into like 10-year-old kids again.
Exactly.
Like I really want to get into like that mocap stuff and that green screen stuff too, because like that seems like it's a whole nother realm of absurd pretend playing.
Yeah.
So what got you into the music?
When I was a kid, I used to like my brother would listen to like Jay-Z and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So it was like this is like a while ago. So we're looking at like cassette tapes and stuff.
Oh
So
yeah,
so when I was hearing the music, I started like I really enjoyed it, and I started memorizing the songs and like rapping them, and then I started writing my own raps. And so, and then artists like Lil Wayne and people like that.
yeah,
I mean, I used to literally know almost every artist that was on every label. Like I paid attention. Like when the videos would pop up, the little like credits, I would write all the
yeah.
information down. I don't know why I was so into it.
I
Like
mean
now, I don't know, but
that's great for you, you know. Like at least you start knowing names and stuff like that, and like labels and everything like that. Like I used to be like that with like directors. I could look at any movie or TV show and I could tell you who the director was, who the cinematographer was, who like the
hmm
stuff nobody cared about, and people are like, you're 13.
exactly.
Why do you care about this?
Right, exactly. And you're actually the first time in an interview I've ever actually mentioned that part. I've never told any, like, I tell people my friends that, but like, yeah, it's kind of cool. It was just kind of interesting to look back at those days. Like, same thing with like basketball games. Like, I knew every player that played for every team. I'm talking about all the way to the reserves. Like, I really paid a lot of attention to like small details, and now yeah, I can't remember anything just because like my mind's always like,
Well, now you got
so.
some more important things to be remembering, but
Probably what it is. That's really what it is.
it's still a really cool thing to think about. I haven't told people that about me either. Like you just you get passionate about something, you just start like learning all those minor details and remembering all that stuff because like when you're younger you think that's important. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like it
hmm
still is to be able to know the other people in your industry that have made it and have recorded and stuff like that. Like it's part of remembering your field's history, which is really important. Just
Yeah.
just to be able to say, you know, this guy, this album, or was signed with this label, like you could start learning like when it comes time for you to get like to one of those bigger labels, you can start learning like who is at what label and if it's really something you want to be into. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of
Yeah.
like in film when it comes to production companies, like you know, Lionsgate, they're the grittier, darker, more horror field type of stuff. You know, Disney, the brighter, more. Well, nowadays they're not as bright as they used to be, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, they're showing the dark side of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I
Maybe it
mean,
was always dark, like I was actually watching
Snow White.
Pinocchio.
Yeah, they
I was
had
like,
some dark
what?
themes
Yeah, very
uh,
dark themes. Yeah.
hidden by bright colors. Yeah, like Snow White, like this old lady's trying to hunt down and kill somebody. You know, there's pretty dark themes going on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, what are some like? What's the first film that you got to be a part of? Because I mean, I know, like you said, we could talk about your music videos, but those go back like 10, 11 years. But like the first film, you know what I mean?
I did a short film that didn't come out with Ruben, actually. You know Ruben. It was called Cetus Rapidus, and it was just like speed dating, and it was fun. Like that was my first like experience in that realm of using dialogue, but it never came out. But so the actual first film that came out that I was part of was Gunslinger Mage, and we actually ended up winning an award for that film in a Peoria Film Fest, Big Picture Film Fest.
Right.
We ended up winning the local best local film. So that was really
awesome.
cool. The first film like to be part of, and it was like a shout out to Tanner Robinson for filming, and it was really cool like to be part of that, and I got to do some like little like almost like some Dragon Ball Z little moves and stuff like that. It was cool. Like
that's awesome.
It made me feel like a kid, because when I was a kid, I used to pretend to be like Piccolo and shit. So,
you know, with the special beam cannon and all that stuff. Yeah.
So it was just a fun vibe. You know what I mean? Like to get to do that, and it was freezing cold, but we figured it out. We definitely worked it out and made some magic. So those were technically the first film I got to be part of that didn't release, and then the first film that released.
That's awesome. It's really cool. Like the first one that was released, you guys also won like best local film too. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Like that probably.
Nice
yeah.
A stroke of the ego.
yeah, probably boosted up your confidence starting off there, which is always nice, because like a lot of times you hear about the people like they've been in like 15, 20 films and they haven't been recognized for anything when they first start off, and then you're just like, first one released, best local film, let's go. That's awesome. I actually just had a film worked with Ruben as well for the Chicago 48-Hour Film Festival, and I mean, we didn't win like the stuff I wanted to win, but you know, whatever, there's other festivals. But we did get like best actor in there for Mario Cannon, so like even though I wasn't the actor, it's still, you know, project I was a part of that got best of something. So,
which is amazing.
Yeah, you got to take those W's where you can get them, right?
Yeah, and that's what I like about acting. It's very collaborative. It's a lot of times people do sit back and are happy to see someone part of the film win.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so like it's different with music, because sometimes you get like a collaborative of artists, and like if one artist wins something, the other artists are kind of like, oh, that should have been me. You know?
Yeah,
like,
and in film, it's like a giant team experience. Like down to the PA or the person that brings coffees, you know, like somebody wins something, it's a team win no matter what. Because like that actor has 4 or 5 people behind them showing them things or directing them, or just like being like, hey, try being a little less noisy because you're spiking on the mic too hard or something like that, you know what I mean? And it's same thing with cinematography. Like I've seen posts on Facebook, and there's like a meme I posted. It's like, if you're missing one thing, you don't have a movie. And it's all the way down to like, you know, wardrobe. If you don't have a wardrobe department, you don't have a movie. And it's cool seeing people that get that as well. So what other projects have you been involved in?
I did. We did a web series called G Hut Beach. We did that in Champaign. My homie Yash. I got a chance to be an actor in that, and then I also got a chance to do some script writing on one of the episodes.
Oh, that's
so that
awesome.
was really fun. And then I helped with like the marketing side of it. So that's kind of like what I went to school for, is marketing. So I was happy to be able to get in that, to use my degree, and also use some fun, you know, have fun with it as well. So that was really cool.
That's awesome.
It did pretty good. I mean, I think we wrapped up combined episodes. I think we've done over 10,000 views, I believe. I have to go back and double check, but I think we've gotten over like 10,000 views. So that's really cool.
That's a hefty number right there.
And that was my second project.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then Recompense, I did, and that was really cool too. It was my first opportunity to like be sad on camera. So
Oh,
that was just so yeah. So that was different, trying to figure out like how do I cry on camera. So that was
that seems to be like the hardest thing for people is it's because most people don't realize off camera when the camera's not rolling, those actors are sitting there making jokes, everybody on set's laughing and being
yeah.
ridiculous and a little immature.
Yeah, it was literally funny because like we were doing it and we well, like I was just figuring out, okay, this is my technique. This is how I'm gonna figure out how to cry, and I did it, and it worked decently. I think I don't know.
Yeah.
It's based off of what people felt. And hopefully, they felt it. But right after me and the actor Miles, we were just like airboxing and just messing around. So it was
Yeah.
like I go into like a real dark place to find that emotion, and I'm like happy and having fun right after.
30 seconds later, you're joking around. Yeah. I
So I
have
think that's
a
a funny part too.
yeah. I have a film. It should be coming out in January. Called The Scratching, and like this girl Jordan, she her character is like covered in scratches and gashes and wounds. You've probably seen pictures of it on Facebook, and
Mm.
like she's supposed to be like in immense pain. You know what I mean? And like scared and terrified and in pain and sad and all this stuff at once. But like 30 seconds before the camera started rolling, we were all laughing and making fun of her because like her job was the easiest. She got to lay down all day. She literally like was either laying on the floor or laying on the couch. That was it. That
Nothing
was
wrong.
her positioning.
It's
And
nice to
she,
get paid to be lazy, quote
yeah,
unquote.
yeah. But I love that, and like there's a trick I use for crying too. I haven't had to yet, but I always carry around like the super wet eye drops.
Oh, okay.
So like if you can't cry, I'm gonna be squeezing eye drops in your eyes until you're crying.
That makes sense. That's a good route.
Yeah.
I guess like my technique is like I try to yawn. I like force myself to yawn because like
Until
automatically you're teared up.
yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of works out. It's like I yawn right before they say action, like and get it to happen, and then it's like ready to come down. So it worked decently well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As long as your face looks sad, you should be okay, right?
Yeah, I don't think I could cry on demand. So most of my stuff's probably just gonna be action roles, but
Yeah,
who
yeah.
knows? Who knows? I might be able to just be like one of those people that can do disgusting sobbing on demand.
That's funny.
But
Uh,
what was so that was like more of a dramatic role then for you?
yeah, yeah, very dramatic. It was. I liked it a lot, and that was directed by Giovanni Galindo, and I'm in another film with him that'll be coming out, Slum Absolution. That should be coming out
Uh-huh.
hopefully December. I don't know the exact dates, so I'm just kind of like I'm playing the
And
waiting game.
and COVID, you can't really
And co
like my film. The Scratching was supposed to have gotten filmed in August and been released in October, but here we are.
Yeah, it's COVID's definitely slowing things down. So
Yeah, I was hoping to be able to get it in Tribeca, but that won't happen at all. Those deadlines are 2 weeks away.
yeah.
Whatever. Maybe next year.
Sound like the Cubs, man.
Yeah, you gotta take them where you can get them. I'll get it in something.
Hmm.
But so, what other projects do you have going on? I just like going through your list of work, man.
Goodness. As far as acting or just in general.
I mean, we can do in general, man. This is all about you. This is me talking to you about you.
Well, I guess right now I'm kind of like in the process of doing a bunch of auditions, and I've
Yeah.
gotten booked for some extra roles and some background acting, which is I honestly enjoy background acting. I think it's just fun and chill. You know what I mean? It's like you really aren't doing much, and you're getting paid all day to just
Yeah,
chill. So
you're there, and you get to see other people act. You get to learn.
it's an experience.
Yeah,
It's like I like it.
I call it kind of like shadowing at work. You know what I mean? You're watching the
Yeah.
people that have the main lines do their thing, and you get to experience the set. You get to experience other directors and other
Hmm.
people, and you never know. Like I've heard about people that were extras on set, and the sound guy ended up having a script and was like, "Hey, you want to be the main in my role, like in my film?" You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
just a great way to network. which
It
is
is.
like the most important thing in this industry.
It's the most important. Honestly, it's the most important thing in life.
Well, in general, with any sort of anything, you never know who
Yeah, so
you're gonna
networking
bump
is
into.
key.
Yeah.
Networking is key, man. Yeah, so I guess that's some of the stuff I'm working on with as far as acting. I'm trying to get into script writing. You know, like I have a couple people have reached out to me, so I'm just kind of waiting on those little projects. But as far as everything else, like I just did a commercial. I wrote a jingle for a company,
I saw that
and
on
so we just
Facebook. Yeah.
so we just released that, and it's doing pretty well. So airing up jingle, and we just released it up on like Spotify, Apple Music, and all that. Like, just because the supporters were his like airing up's customers were just so into jingle. Like, they're like, we've been singing it all day, and like I just thought it was really cool. I was because when I wrote it, I wrote it to the fact of like. I know, like, you know, I like delivered it in the fact of I want it to be catchy, blah blah blah.
Right.
Understand what we're talking about, using those marketing skills, but I didn't expect people to like really like cling on to it. Where it was like, yeah, like my 3-year-old sons are singing this, you know, like I was like, you know, like they want to actually like actively listen to it. You know, like most ads you don't want to actively listen to,
No, no.
but. But you know, then there's also those ads where you like you just sing it randomly, and that's
Yeah,
where
for no
so
reason.
for no reason. So that's where I'm like kind of proud to say like I was able to write something to do that. You know, for my first go around as a jingle, um,
That's
which you
awesome.
know,
Yeah.
so I was happy about that. You know what I mean? But I've been writing music for so long and making like I like to try to be catchy. I mean that's kind of like the whole fact of how you make a song a hit.
Yeah.
It's
You gotta
catchy.
you gotta make it like bubble gum. It just sticks on, you know?
So, so that's kind of like the fun stuff as far as like music's going, and then poetry. I'm been just like I have a book out called Ingredients of Connected Souls. That came out a couple of years ago, but I'm finishing up an audio version of that, and that will be released on all streaming services. And we're doing like I'm also doing like a poetic art series. So
Right.
kind of having artists illustrate my poems, you know what I mean? Like I infuse them together to take my poems, they create some art to it, we fuse it together, and it's almost kind of like that. You're in Walmart, and you see something you want to hang up in your house, that vibe.
Yeah, yeah, you know, like the picture with like some words on it. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
get you.
yeah,
That's awesome, man, and I love that you're like going multiple routes with all of your like art because that's what
yeah,
it is. Like you're going multiple routes with your music instead of just making your solo work and your projects and all that stuff. You're also doing like jingles and things because that's how you make money in this industry is being kind of what people say quote unquote like selling out a little bit like I do it. I'm trying to like film commercials or whatever because that's where the real money is. Like I'm not
yeah,
gonna make much money off of my own. Well, knock on wood, I will, but I'm most likely not for a while gonna see a return on investment with my own film projects. You know what I mean?
hmm yeah,
Like
yeah.
I threw $3,000 into a 15-minute short film. Uh,
Mm,
Probably not getting that back. I might get 500 or 600 back. You know,
right.
and
It's a process.
God knows how much I'm going to be throwing into a feature length. But
Yeah, yeah.
you
So
know,
that's
filming wedding videos, you know, filming commercials, like doing projects I honestly don't have a passion for, but whatever. You know what I mean? That's what
yeah.
you got to do, but at least like the way you're doing it, like I don't know if you have a passion for jingles, but it's
I mean, honestly, I have a passion for marketing.
so
And
that
I
makes
have a
sense
passion
for you.
and I have a passion for songwriting. So adding the passion of marketing and songwriting, you put them together as jingles. You know what I mean? So it's like that kind of works out in my favor in a
Right.
sense. And I finally, it's one of those things that I had on my to do list years ago, and it just manifested. It just randomly manifested. And once I did it, and I enjoyed the process. And it was a lot different than my normal songwriting process. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna try to like really make this kind of a part of my business model. You know,
Right.
so
That's awesome.
it's definitely it's lucrative. You know what I mean? It's lucrative. It's one, it's lucrative, and two, it's like amazing to watch the full process. And I got blessed to have Aaron Up and my guy Dan being so easy to work with, and like you're not gonna get that too often, especially on your first go around. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I felt blessed to be able to have that opportunity to work with someone who was easy to work with. We work in this artistic field. Is you get so many hit or misses
Absolutely,
with people.
you get a lot of ups and downs. Trust me, I've done some work with some people as a hired director, and that's different than being like a friend that's directing something for somebody. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like a couple of them, I've had to walk off on because like I respect myself and I
yeah,
respect the people that work for me. Because whatever project I go on, I always end up dragging like 10 or 11 of my friends that are in the industry onto projects with me, so they're kind of
right.
like my quote unquote team. And like, just without getting into it, people have treated my people badly, and I'll walk off for that. I don't care if
Yeah,
you're paying me my daily rate of 300 a day. Like, I won't sell myself out to watch my friends get hurt. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, I've
Yeah, I
also
feel
worked with
that.
people that, like, I've been like, we're vibing. I see that your budget's hurting. I'll take, like, 150 a day instead of 300 so that we can get this made. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I work with people, too. But that's awesome that you're able to blend, like, your love for, like, the business side of things and then your love for the actual music and put it
yeah,
together into one thing. So, like, you're getting just, like, all around enjoying that entire process, which is
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, because when I first got into college, I already like my mindset was I want to have a business degree, so that
Right.
was the first thing I did. And then when I ended up transferring schools, I went from Monmouth College to Western Illinois University. When I transferred, it was such a hard process to like. It was like I was gonna have to take like 3 or 4 extra years, and I was like, no, okay, I'll move it around and figure it out. So
So
I figured
the
out how to major myself to not be there too long and get it
yeah,
done.
yes, your mate figured out a way to transfer the credits into like marketing instead, which is pretty much business, just like more focused.
Right, right.
Uh,
Well, I have a well, my degree is in communication, right?
oh, okay.
And it has in the fields that I've concentrated in were interpersonal communication and persuasion, and then I minored in marketing. So they all kind of like wrap up together.
That's awesome. I like that a lot. Like, it's a
So
good way to like figure out how to get like everything working for you, so it's like the degree specific for you, which is
it's,
amazing. A lot of people just like throw a dart, hit a degree, stick with the degree. Don't really care if it fits them 100%. They're like, I'll make it work. Make the degree
yeah,
work for you. Don't work for the degree. You know,
exactly, 100%.
because
Um,
you got to feel that passion, and then at the end of the day, that's all it is. You know what I
and it
mean?
makes the classes a lot easier when you're doing something that you enjoy.
Absolutely.
You're gonna get those couple little bummers, but um, I took some classes that I would never have taken, and I was like, wow, I can enjoy this too. So it's like it's a hit or miss. Once again, it's like you never know. But as long as you're aiming towards what you really want and you're focusing yourself on that, then you should be okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree with you. I mean, I was going to school. I kind of like I haven't like officially dropped out yet, but it was for film, and my career's going pretty well without the degree, anyways. And like I'm already 3 years ahead of the program when it comes to my knowledge. So I was like, maybe I'll just take a semester and figure out if maybe I want to go get like a marketing degree or something instead,
Yeah.
because 3 years of schooling in something you already know sounds pretty boring.
Right. And I guess you could look at it as like going to school for something you already know is like, especially if you already like got the experience in it, you're really just paying for the networking now.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
this
your professor
podcast,
is
yeah, this podcast has pretty much helped me network as much as a school would, if not more,
yeah.
because there's people already
So
in the industry, right?
yeah. So you're good.
So,
I mean, your
going.
process, and it's everyone has their own process. So
Yeah.
I don't think that there's like when people hear my story, I don't think my story is for them. It's for
Your
me.
story's for you, my story's for me, and it sounds like your story has been working out really well for you. You know what I
It's
mean?
there's blessings. There's definitely blessings. There's
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Everybody has their blessings, everybody has their drawbacks, and it just seems like you're being really good at staying focused on those blessings, which, a lot of people sometimes get stuck in that trap of, the darkness and the despair and like the hard times, but it seems like you're one of the ones that focuses on all the good stuff, and like me, I try to at least. I focus on the light stuff and just like be like, well, it happened. I can't change what's already happened, you know. Like I can focus on it, or I can learn from it and move on, and tomorrow's a new day, you know.
Yeah. I guess the only other thing that I'm really working on now is my clothing company. Like I have a couple brands under my clothing company, and we're releasing some new stuff in about a week, getting prepared for Christmas and New Year's Eve and stuff. So the designs are kind of around those, based around those holiday vibes. So they're gonna be really fun. I'm enjoying them. I actually just posted them on my story, and people have been like, "Yeah, I like that. I like this. I like that." So we'll see how it goes once the sales come, because that's where it matters.
That's what matters. It doesn't matter how much people say it's cool.
Yeah.
Don't tell me it's cool. Buy it. Tell me it's cool.
So we'll see. I mean, I've had I've had some blessings on that end too. You know, a lot of people who have reached out and bought different things from my clothing, my different brands and stuff. So I'm definitely, once again, I just appreciate it every day. Like, one, just because it could be one, or it could be 100, or it could be 1,000. It's just like each one is important. You know what I mean?
Every sale, every like project you have is important. Every sale when it comes to like that clothing brand is important. You know, and I mean, you'll at least get a sale for me. I make it a point whenever somebody has a clothing brand or collectible or whatever they're selling on the podcast, I buy it. I'd show you, but my webcam's like really, it's got a very short cord. But
no
like,
stress.
I bought like a Funko doll that somebody had on the podcast that they're selling, or like a shirt or a hat or a DVD, you know, even though I don't have anything that plays discs. Might as well.
Right.
We're in the era of all digital, especially when it's me that's gone all digital.
Yeah.
But I do know that there's another project that you just got attached to that I wrote, Paragenix.
Yes.
So, I mean, you don't have to, like, go into, like, oh, the director's amazing, it's such an amazing script, but, like, it's just,
I can't believe the director's so cool. I can't believe it.
Yes, feel that ego. But, you know, like how was it just, like, getting a message one day and being like, hey, I got a role for you? Like that's what networking is having that happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really cool, and from what I read, it's kind of like some of the vibes I want to go into. Is to, you know, I'm not gonna speak much on the script unless you want me to, but
you can go into non-specifics,
Right, yeah. I just know that I've always wanted to get into that realm of like hero villain, you know, those type of vibes. So
and then your character, like I remember telling you, you know, your character's got that that electrokinesis type of stuff where you control electronics and things. Like, I feel like there, like, especially with like your hair, I feel like there's some cool stuff we can do with your hair. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be dope. I'm excited for that.
Like I said, I plan on putting a lot of money into this feature, so I really want to make like everything like, not like, you know, Marvel, DC with the costumes, but like that super hyper realistic kind of like the show Heroes was, or like Umbrella Academy, or like Doom Patrol. You know what I mean? Like, there's costumes, but they're not really like, you know, spandex.
They're not doing too much.
Yeah. It's more like they have a specific thing they like to wear themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, it's cool that you've worked with so many people that are already on this project. You know, like Ruben.
So the vibes will be there.
Yeah, I've got like, so far I've had 2 teams I've worked with, like 2 separate teams that have never worked together before, and this project is like bringing them all together onto one. So I'm like, ooh, we'll see how this how these vibes work, because I hang out with every single person on set, like solo sometimes, you know what I mean, or at least I'll text him or play Xbox or whatever with somebody, just because keeping that connection. And like having like all these people that I've met over Facebook or all that stuff on set's gonna be like super surreal for me, because it's like at that point I get to see the community that I've built with this podcast actually come to life with like I think there's 30 people on this crew and cast, you know? Like,
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
like I got Nick Daniel, he's an audio guy out of Peoria. I don't know if you've worked with him. I've got
Yeah, he just worked on the last project, so was about to release. So he's great. He's good at what he does.
he's an amazing audio person. Like he's just a funny guy.
Super cool. I like him. It was the first time meeting him. I was just kind of like, I'm really like laid back and like I'm not really like a talkative to people.
I can tell. Yeah.
So I don't really say much to him. And like once we started talking and vibing, it was like, okay, I like this guy. He's cool and he knows what he's doing, and he's professional. Like I rock with it.
Yeah, and I like with the script, like you know your character's like 4 or 5 pages. You know what I mean? And which isn't a lot, but like you took it, and I told you I was like, future plans are gonna happen. Characters are gonna have more screen time. Like just go with it. I know it kind of sucks having like 5 lines of dialogue in one movie, but like we're going with it, and your character's gonna get a lot more. And I'm like really appreciative that you understand that, because some people are like, no, my time's worth more than that.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I don't mind if I'm the main role or supporting or just someone coming through real quick. Like it doesn't bother me. I just enjoy the being on set. I really just enjoy that. And like you said, you can't take every like. I pretty much look at it as like that small role could lead into something bigger. So it's like if you stand out, you do your job well enough, someone's gonna say, okay, I want to know more about this guy.
Especially since I'm not the executive producer on that. That's the Darrell Miller. He's the owner of the Paragenix brand, and I'm just in charge of the Illinois stuff. Mm-hmm. And like you've already gotten in contact with Darrell Miller, the executive producer, you know, and he's probably gonna stop on set once or twice to be on filming. So if he ends up stopping on set your day of filming and likes what you're doing, he might pick you up for one of his like 7 other series he's got going on.
Right, 100.
Yeah, he's a cool guy too. He's actually a hip hop artist as well. Out of
nice.
Indianapolis. Yeah. So
nice.
You guys might be able to do like some collab work on that end too.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it is. It's all around artists. But that's what happens.
Yeah, and I think there's like 4 of the other cast members on the movie are hip hop artists as well. So
yeah,
there you go. Well, is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we wrap up for the day? Like any sign-off messages or anything like that?
Man, I appreciate you for having me on, 1, and then 2, like if you guys want to follow me, it's at Chisongwriter, CHI Songwriter. That's on all social media, and that's all on all streaming services. You can also go to www.chisongwriter.com and just connect with everything. So once again, I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man, and I appreciate you coming on and talking with me. It's always a great time getting to talk to you guys, and like I really look forward to working with you in the future. You know what I mean? Like you seem like a really chill, laid-back guy, and we got like a lot of the similar personality vibes going on, which I enjoy a lot. And you also seem to like be really into the, you know, just creating and making art, which is really, really dope. Because there's some people I've been on here that are just like, I want to be a star, and it's like,
No, I like the art side. Like the other stuff can come. The other stuff comes with it. I like the art.
Yeah, I don't care about fame or money as long as I get to make my movies. If I make enough movie money to fund the next project, I'm cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for enjoying that episode. I really hope you liked it. Thank you for tuning in, and please continue to do so. Subscribe, and look out for every new episode. One should drop on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I always live stream my episodes Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7